Okei.
Tervetuloa San Franciscoon ja PelaajahD pari. Aurinko paistaa muuten tänään on sunnuntai, koko viikko on satanut niin kuin voidaan olla muutenkin huono sää, mutta on ollut ihan hyvä GDC. Mulla on mun hyvä kaveri tässä, Thomas Wiborgh from Sweden, Urläget.
Det är bra.
And that's gonna be all the Swedish. I'm gonna be able to talk. Thomas here is one of the best games journalists in the world and works for Level magazine in Sweden. And we're gonna dissect GDC just a little bit. So overall thoughts, I think one of the big things was PlayStation move. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, it's hard to tell at this point because most of the games are just demonstrations and they're smaller variations of other games. We got to see SOCOM 4 and we got to see Little Big Planet. Those look good, but it's hard to actually judge the thing before we get to see some real games.
Yeah, I think the tech demos, where you could really see the accuracy, were great, but they're just demos. And then some of the games, like the rail shooter, was fun, but it was just a rail shooter. And SOCOM, SOCOM was so unfinished that it was really hard to really even get a feel for it because the frame rate was bad and all that. So
I think that the accuracy was fine. I'm not sure that it's as good as they're saying it is. I mean, they went on to say during the presentation that there's less than 1 frames of lag, which is the same as DualShock. You don't get that feeling when you're actually playing the thing. There's still a lag between what you're doing with your hand and what you see on the screen, obviously. But so saying that it's as responsive as DualShock 3, I think is not quite true.
No, that's marketing speak. But some of the mini game stuff was fine, and the controller seems pretty solid. But they just need better games, and I'm pretty sure they will ship it probably in September. They won't really have that much time to make any really mind-blowing games, but
I think that what's interesting is the way you're able to make variations in the controller. You're able to buy 2 of them and you can use them together. That could be interesting to see what they do with that. But in terms of how it actually feels to play, I think that people should just try to think of Wii Motion Plus and maybe even a little more accurate than that. But it's the same kind of technology. It's not actually the same kind of technology, but it's the same feeling you get as a player.
And what else? We both got to see. We actually got to finally play Mafia 2, which has been in the works forever. And I gotta say, I was really impressed. Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, me too. Mafia 2 has been one of the most anticipated games for me of the year, and I wasn't disappointed at all by what I saw, even though the frame rate was still a bit choppy and there was a lot of screen tearing. But I think that the atmosphere and the gameplay was awesome too. I thought it felt even more responsive than GTA with the controllers.
I loved how the cars handled, because basically that's always been GTA's strength, and if you play The Godfather or Saints, the vehicle handling just never feels as good. But here, I really liked driving several of the cars.
Listening to 50s music,
very
awesome.
And the technology is really, impressive. The interiors I got to go to were really detailed. Every window you see, you can see outside, the faces look great, and then the on-foot gameplay. There's a lot of shooting, but it really worked well.
The aiming is very much different from GTA. I think there's not a lot of auto aim or lock on or anything like that. It's way more like Gears of War, I guess. And it worked really well, I think.
And the voice acting was great, and I don't know what authentic Mafia stuff would be, but the game does feel authentic. At least in the demo, it didn't feel like it takes all these movie Goodfellas cliches. The characters felt pretty good and all that. And there's a lot of you can customize your vehicle, you can change your clothing, things like that.
What I'm interested in is the way 2K has been talking about actually conveying more emotion than GTA, being a deeper game, deeper experience like that. I think that's really interesting to see where that goes. From the demo, I thought it was very much like GTA in terms of the the depth of the story and the characters.
Have you seen a car like that before?
That's a very weird
Film,
car.
film over there. What the hell is that thing?
That's not going to be in Mafia 2.
No, it's not. Okay, back to regular programming. But like we also saw True Crime, which is granted still half a year off. But having then seen Mafia 2 the following day, it was like night and day in terms of the difference.
I didn't see True Crime, so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, from the the movie stuff, I've seen the trailers and so forth. I think it's not as good as Mafia by any stretch.
Okay, what about GDC itself? I can really hardly remember anything that happened this week for various reasons, but it was a bit more low-key than before, not just because there was only one keynote from Sid Meier, which was okay. Uncharted 2 was everywhere. They won a lot of awards. There was a lot of postmortems on it. And did you get to go see the surprise session, the Will Wright session?
No.
Yeah, Will Wright. There was the metaphysics of game design yesterday, the last show. And if you looked at the website, the GDC website, they didn't list who it was and they didn't tell what it was. And there was a huge queue, and I went to see the last 20 minutes, and it was Sid Meier. No, not Sid Meier, Will Wright, sorry. So
awesome, yeah, I'm sorry I missed that.
Yeah, I only saw like 15-20 minutes, but it was quite interesting, as he always is. Anything specific that you saw that sort of stuck in your mind?
Well, from the talks, I did catch a lot of the Uncharted talks. It's probably my favorite game of all time. Uncharted 2 is, and I'll write a big story on it. So it's very helpful for a video game writer, to see this kind of stuff, because it helps getting a feeling for what they're actually going through when they're making the games. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved seeing how they created all the cutscenes and just the amount of work that went into that.
Oh yeah,
that was just crazy.
That's unparalleled in video games. I mean, they're doing so much stuff at Naughty Dog that no one else is doing, and it really shows in the game, I think.
Yeah. What else was there? I'm trying to remember what. I saw this one interesting panel about like metrics about new IP versus sequels and this stuff. That was quite interesting. They had like 32 million data points that they actually combined, and that was interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of the stuff is not really applicable to what we do in terms of actually writing about the game experience. A lot of it is developer focused, and there's a lot of talk about tools for developers, and I don't really get much of that, not being a programmer myself. So I try to stay with the talks that are like visionary, and so in that sense, I thought that the Sid Meier keynote was interesting, and there's also a few others, like I can't really recall any specific ones now, but I try to stay with the visionaries, basically, not get too technical.
Yeah. I watched the Assassin's Creed 2 design one. There was some interesting stuff in there, just how they managed 300 people.
Yeah.
Which was quite intriguing.
So I remember I saw two of the Japanese ones. I saw
the Sakamoto one.
That's right, and I also the Akira Yamaoka.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Did he play guitar and stuff?
Yeah,
there?
he did play guitar. That was awesome. That was a good ending to that session. And I always think that the Japanese talks are very hit or miss.
They are.
It's either they're very insightful and you can really get a glimpse into their mind, or it's the other way around. They can't even express what they're trying to do. So I think these two were pretty good in that sense.
Okay, siinä kaikki. Thanks very much, man. You're gonna stay in San Francisco. Keep it real. PelaajahD kiittää. Toivottavasti saadaan tehdä lisää videoita. Kanava pysyy auki. Muuta kuin hyvää talvista jatkoa Suomeen.
Hyvä.